Well, firstly, it's quite scandalous that it's so difficult to get medicinal cannabis prescribed on the NHS, and it's that people have got to go to private prescribers that charge through the nose for what is essentially quite a cheap. Why should somebody have to pay £1,000 for a prescription and so many grand a month for medical grade cannabis when they can buy the sort of buy off the street at a fraction of the price? So that although there's less in terms of quality control, there is not enough extra quality control to justify the huge markups that there are on medicinal cannabis products. So that in terms of cannabis generally, it should, my view is it should have been legalized and taxed 50 years ago when they brought in the Misuse of Drugs Act. It should never have been in there in the first place. And that, if it had been, then, so many of society's problems would never have happened. There'd be much better race relations. There'd be the government and police would be much more trusted when they give advice and things like that, because, people have been lied to so often and consistently over the years. The other point is that, yes, you have to accept that, for some people, cannabis is quite a dangerous drug. If you're susceptible to certain mental illnesses, particularly schizophrenia, if there's a family history, then it could well trigger it. But the actual chances of suffering serious mental health episodes for the vast majority of people are very, very small. So that, to suggest that, everybody's going with the psychiatric wards are going to be filled with patients suffering cannabis psychosis if it was legal is total nonsense. Basically, if nothing else, because the vast majority of people that want to use cannabis already do so. And the only real people that would start to use cannabis if it was made legal would be the older generation, people my age and older, particularly pensioners trying to sort of, help their arthritis and things like that. Whereas most of the younger people, I think if it was legal, it would lose a lot of its attraction. They say the fruit, when it's no longer forbidden, loses much of its sweetness, and that is certainly true. What we did find that as people who were arrested for cannabis early in life were much more likely later on to be users of heroin and crack. So that the consequences of a conviction early in life are much more severe than anything that the actual drug itself does. And that's people say, oh, legalize cannabis. It's not legalizing cannabis, it's legalizing the users of cannabis. Whereas cannabis is neither here nor there. It's neither good nor bad. It is what it is, and it's the people that use it that's the ones that are persecuted. And it has long been used. The law has long been used as a tool to sort of oppress marginalized groups, whether they be sort of the hippies or particularly people of color, who are much more likely to be stopped and searched. So one of the things I would like to see is, if somebody's being stopped and searched for weapons, then only weapons are admissible. If they find any drugs on them, then that's not admissible. So that if you're actually giving grounds for a search, you can only have admitted in evidence what you're actually searching for, not a chance find of a bit of dope, because that's how a lot of young black people particularly get criminal records from it.